IMMA Classes is glad to present you our first video on personality development under the title Something Valuable. Our sincere thanks to one of our guiding stars, Mr. Irudayaraj P., M.Sc. B.Phil.
Hearty welcome to this session on Something Valuable. These days, a term is heard constantly. You can easily guess it. Yes, that term is attitude. We often hear sentences like, her attitude is good. You need to change your attitude. Your attitude is very negative, and so on. By the way, what is attitude? It's a basic principle of one's inner working and outer expression. The inner working is nothing but our thinking. The outer expression is our communication and behavior. The outer expression depends on our inner working. In other words, our behavior depends on our thinking. So changing one's behavior without changing one's thinking is impossible. This fact moves us to focus on thinking. I classify thinking into 4 categories. Number 1, positive thinking. Number 2, negative thinking. Number 3, progressive thinking. Number 4, indifferent thinking. Let's now look at an example of positive thinking. Looking at a handicapped person, a normal person thinks, thank God, I have normal legs. This thinking makes him happy and develops a sense of gratitude in him. As a result, his attitude is going to be positive. Let's now look at an example of negative thinking. Looking at a normal person, a handicapped person thinks, oh God, how come he is normal and I am not? This thinking makes him unhappy and develops a sense of ingratitude in him. As a result, his attitude is going to be negative. Let's now focus on progressive thinking. This is the best form of thinking. Looking at a handicapped person, if a normal person thinks like this, I must do something to make him normal, or at least I must help him, then his thinking is an example of progressive thinking. Similarly, looking at a normal person, a handicapped person thinks like this, I thank God that others are normal. Many are ready to help me. I'm sad that I have to disturb others for my needs. Then his thinking is an example of progressive thinking. Progressive thinking is greater than positive thinking. Let's now focus on indifferent thinking. This is the worst form of thinking. Looking at a handicapped person, if a normal person thinks, it's his fate, I can do nothing about it, then his thinking is an example of indifferent thinking. Similarly, looking at a normal person, if a handicapped person thinks, it's my fate, nobody can do anything about it, then his thinking is an example of indifferent thinking. Indifferent thinking leads nowhere, as it doesn't allow us to take any responsibility. That's why I say that this is the worst form of thinking. Therefore, the forward and upward steps that we need to take for our well-being are: Step 1, moving from indifferent thinking to negative thinking. Step 2, moving from negative thinking to positive thinking. Step 3, moving from positive thinking to progressive thinking. If our thinking is progressive, then our attitude is going to be progressive. As a result, our life is going to be progressive for sure. Thank you.